Hello, fabulous fourth graders. Today we're going to dissect our second poem. It's called Meal Landforms, and here I've got my colors for finding text evidence. When we answer our questions, I'm going to move them out of the way, and I'm going to get started by reading Meal Landforms. I sit down with my plate, and I can't believe what I see. All of the earth landforms are right in front of me. A volcano of fluffy mashed potatoes topped with lava made of gravy. Wow, this meal really does look so savory. The pooling gravy at the bottom leads up to our next formation, one I created at the turkey carving station. It is a plateau of turkey piled so high, I truly can't wait to dig in. Oh my! Beneath the plateau you will find a desert, flat barren land with very little to see. A slice of jelly cranberry sauce is best for my sweet tooth and me. Rolling green hills are next on my plate. That's great with me because peas I certainly do not hate. A sea of creamed onions is the last formation I get to eat, with little tiny onions like buoys. The cream from the sea makes the turkey less chewy. I saved the best fixing for very last. However, a formation of our planet I simply cannot see, but it really doesn't matter because this fixing is already a thing of the past. More stuffing for me. All right, let's turn over, friends, and see what we're going to answer. So our instructions say answer the following questions, and we're going to underline the text evidence and the color shown. So here we've got our colors. Give 2 examples of metaphors that the author uses, and what is the author comparing? So I'm going to remember that a metaphor is when an author or a poet is comparing 2 things together and saying that it is something else. So let's turn back over. And I remember in the very first stanza that they were talking about, the second stanza. They use the metaphor of volcano of fluffy mashed potatoes. So I'm going to underline that in red. A volcano of fluffy mashed potatoes. So they were comparing a volcano to mashed potatoes. So over here, I'm going to write volcano of fluffy mashed potatoes. So comparing a volcano to mashed potatoes. Now, I know that there was some more metaphors in there, so I'm going to skip down to the third stanza, and I'm going to say a plateau of turkey piled so high. So over here, I'm going to say a plateau of turkey. Well, we know that obviously it wasn't a real plateau that you'd find out in the desert. So they're comparing a plateau to turkey piled high. Awesome. Now there were a couple more that we can go back and find. Let's see, in stanza 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got flat barren land with very little to see. Then in stanza 5, we've got rolling green hills. They're talking about peas. They've got a sea of creamed onions. Now, do they really have a sea of creamed onions? No, they have gravy on their plate. Awesome. Let's turn back over. It says, read the following line from the poem. Rolling green hills are next on my plate. What is the author referring to in this line? Well, let's look back over. Rolling green hills. Rolling green hills are next on my plate. That's great with me because peas I certainly do not hate. So I'm going to take my orange because that's my text evidence. Peas I certainly do not hate. And that answers my question, peas. Now I'm going to come over here with yellow. What does the author compare the creamed onions to? A sea, buoys, a plateau, and chewy turkey. Notice that it says choose all that apply. So I notice that I've already underlined this in red, but that's okay. I'm going to also say that we're going to do it in yellow. A sea of creamed onions, and those tiny onions look like buoys as well. The cream from the sea makes the turkey less chewy. So I see 2 underlines in yellow. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to say they compares them to a sea and to buoys. 2 because it says choose all that apply. All right, finally number 4. How do the similes and metaphors in this poem contribute to the meaning? Well, the author uses metaphors to compare the food on her plate to landforms. The similes and metaphors help the reader to imagine what each of them look like and creates a vivid image. So I'm going to find some similes and metaphors. I know that these are already all metaphors. So they're helping us create that picture. So I can go ahead and underline those again in green. It's okay to have the same thing used as text evidence more than once. I'm going to come over here to the front side and I'm going to write the author uses figurative language. We know that figurative language is language that we need to figure out the meaning of that. Which doesn't actually mean there's a sea of creamed onions. We have to figure out that they mean it looks like a sea. So the author uses figurative language to compare food to landforms. This helps the reader see what the author sees. All right, so if you've been watching this video, you did not have to complete this on your own sheet of paper. This was just another guided practice that we're going to go through together. However, you do need to comment on the the Google Classroom assignment and tell me 2 different metaphors that the author uses in this poem to describe the food looking at to what meal landform. That was 2 metaphors that the author uses in this poem. You need to comment on the Google Classroom assignment. Bye friends, see you tomorrow.